Alright, today we're going to do some small repairs, fix some bugs. I got some parts in here. So, things and stuff. What I got here. I got jets for the carb that I think will work, or it can make work anyway. I got some offset links and some master links, and I got a 10-2 sprocket so we can make some ridiculous torque. I've also got here some 40 series chain, 10 feet of it to be specific. Let's just get this open, take a look. I didn't really know much about chain when I did this or care much, and I just used one of the chains here that came with this, and this is a 428 chain, and these are 420 sprockets, which looks like it fits great, right? Well, 428 has a different size roller on there, same spacing and everything, so it should work, but different size roller. So the different size roller doesn't fit in there so good. So that's why it kept popping. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to replace that piece of chain real quick here. And by real quick, I mean not real quick at all, but we're going to do that. So we need some tools for that. All right. So here's wrong chain. So like I said, see? Same spacing, but the rollers are a different size, and you can see here, looking at them, smaller rollers, bigger rollers. So that's my issue. I need the smaller rollers that I got here. Now clearly I've bent this, so we're going to straighten this out, and then we might also weld a little bit onto here, maybe, to beef that up. We'll see here in a second. Let's get this straight though first of all, then we'll go from there. Alright, so now I'll have to touch up this paint at some point. Well, buff it out, really, that's it. Because I did touch this up. It's wet and sticky now. Let's try not to touch it as we try and put this back together. Alright, so it's kind of just jammed in there hanging out right now. So we want to hold both of these. We got to pull it back. We got to hold it where we want it. And that's where it'll start pulling. That ought to be pretty good. Yeah, so what I did was I put some weld on here to beef that up so it doesn't bend again. I welded around here to stiffen this thing to here in case I broke that. And we'll really just go from here. If that doesn't, I don't think jumping it'll be a problem anymore. This jumping, so now we have the right sprocket. So we'll just have to see. We got the right chain, so it shouldn't skip anymore. We got this beefed up and straightened out. Put some welds on there, so that should be good. Hopefully. Today, I've got no time to waste. I've got stuff to do, so I need to get this stuff out of the way. So let's get these needles here. They're set. We'll get these needles. I think I'm going to be using these jets there. Let's get these. Got this ready to go. Let's drain this carb. All right, let's make sure that we got the right one in here. All right, there we go. That is off. And let's drain. So that shouldn't take too horribly long to drain. Yep, it's going. We'll get our slow jets. I know those ones will go right in. So here's our slow jet. Now, I don't know what size it is. Internet would have you believe that that would be like a 15, and everything I've read says I probably want a 20 on here, so that's what I'm going to start with. It's just brass, so we're not going to crank it in there. We're just going to get it in there snug. And then we're going to take out our main jet. Or what size it is, because this one also doesn't say anything on it. However, again, I've read that it is likely, I think, a 90. And I want like a 120 or something along those lines, maybe. Something closer to that. Bigger, obviously. So let's loosely hold it in there. Let's get it out of there. Now, like I said, I could not find an exact that anywhere. I don't know what it is. I'm sure it exists. I couldn't find one though. So we're gonna see what we got here that we could maybe make work. So I have these ones. Let's check these out, because these ones look very similar. And we're gonna try probably like a 115 if we can find it. 105, 95. I've also read 120 or up will be good. Well, there's 120, let's try it. But if you look, they're the same, but they're different. The thread pitches is a little off. The inside looks like they go to the same depth. They look like they're the same diameter. Really, the only difference that you see is that thread pitch. So it'll only screw partially in here. Huh. What do you know? Never mind, I lied. So there you go. Then we'll put this original one back. Well, that worked out beautifully, actually. Maybe this is a real Mikuni, because that was the real Mikuni jet. But no, because it's still got that other weird one. So maybe this is the China version. I don't know. Probably China version. This was cheap. Get it past compression. And then, ooh! We still skipped the thing down here, so not cool. I'll have to figure that out too. Might need some tension there as well. Ah. So let's close this up just a little bit and try it again. Get through that compression, there we go. So it's got its best idle with the mixture screw all the way in. Means I'm too rich. So I'll go back to like a 17.5 next. Let's see if we can't adjust this. Idle down. Too rich, yep. So we need a smaller slow jet. All right, so we need a smaller slow jet. Not a big deal. Let's get these. Well, let's put the air up just a little bit so we remember for next time. All right, so as you saw, wrong jets. So let's change them again. So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna drain the carb. And I'm gonna do a nice temp fix here on some other stuff. Well, not temp, but I ordered another tensioner that I might be able to rig to fit. All right, so with that cover off, we need to fix this, and there wasn't enough. Take another link off. However, the sprockets are good, everything's good, so if that's all good where it's at, maybe we can just do this. And then it won't go nowhere, right? So we can weld it right to this tube. We can back this stuff off of it, put some stuff in there to give it some space for heat. Although, what's our clearance going to be to actually weld? I think it'll be doable. All right, now let's make sure these wires and stuff are backed off enough so they don't burn. Now with nothing touching, we're just gonna go ahead and do it to it. All right, so we got a bit of a weld here. Now let's get some paint on it to keep it from rusting up too horribly bad. So I went ahead and did that on this one and not the other one. So I'm gonna wait for my other tensioner. That's a little, I think it's gonna be smaller. So we'll wait on it. So I might be able to make it fit in the other side a little easier, like the fab work. So we'll try that. And then we'll put the 14 tooth back on it for now. However, let's see if this is gonna need modification to clear what I just did. Let's hope not, because that'll be easier to not than to do anything, right? I think it's just gonna touch, but that'll do. All right, so, owie, my knee. All right, so with that off of there, now, let's check out this slow jet. Seemed a bit too big, because when it was screwed all the way in was when it ran its best. Which that tells me that too big. And I think we're gonna try a 17.5. Let's go past the high compression spot so I don't bend my starter again. Just let it bleed it off. And then we go. Ready? Whoa, first kick. So far, that sounds pretty money, actually. It does not want to idle still below 3,000. All right, so I jumped from a 17.5 to a 12.5. See what the difference is. See if I'm going the right way or not. We shall see. All right, so as you're aware, I haven't been able to get this tuned in right. I couldn't get it to run below 3,000 RPM. Now, the idle sounded great and everything at certain ones. Like, I think 17.5 is my best, so that's what I have in there now. But I couldn't get it to run. I could only get it to run at like 3,000 RPM. Well, I found out that I think I had this gauge set wrong. So I had it set differently and whatever. So I changed the setting on there. And now we're going to see if that's actually the correct RPM instead of 3,000 RPM. Now this motor is supposed to be able to run around, I believe it was 1750 RPM, plus or minus 2 hundo. So let's find out. I think it's a little on the rich side, maybe. Let's see what happens if I try and move, huh? So my clutch isn't fully disengaged. Okay, so my clutch isn't disengaging. I gotta figure that out. Hopefully I didn't break nothing here. Well, it drives, but I gotta figure out that clutch. All right, so things for today. I need to adjust my clutch first. Let's make that work. Buggy bug. So what I did was I adjusted this before, and I didn't really know how it worked. I never used one before. I thought I determined how it worked. I was wrong. So now it's time to fix it. So what I did before was, I think, loosen or tighten the screw. I don't even know. So that way I could get this higher up, because my clutch didn't have enough throw. So I thought once I'd be able to get this to a certain point, it would be fine. But that's not the case. So for our next baseline on here, we're going to loosen that, and then we're going to tighten this. Until there's no play. So now we can assume once you pull this, you're starting to push that clutch in. Let's see, does this have a specific way? Right there. Boop. Oh. All right, so if you saw that, I need that to be able to come down a bit more. So to get that to come down a bit more, I have to move this a bit more. So it's good I welded it all in there. It's nice and firm and solid. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut this off, and we're going to move it. We'll set that on there, so hopefully it's enough of a ground. All right, so as you can see, I cut this, I welded it further forward, put some more on it, and what that does, it puts it further from center, which means it's going to pull further. Additionally, I cut a piece of pie out of here to kick it back so it's at a better angle to where it's at now, since it's lower in relation to it. That way it's pulling the cable straight. So now let's try and hook it up. Not yet. Looks like we're gonna need more throws than that. that time the clutch wanted to work, huh? But now it doesn't want to go to nothing. We need some adjustment there. We need some adjustment on both, but it works. All right, so we almost disengage, but not quite. So, we have this. Let's get a little more throw on it. I could lengthen that one piece up again. I don't want to. But I also don't want my clutch dragging. So, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go in here. Ow, exhaust hot. And we are going to loosen this. Let's do this till we know we got the play out. All right, let's try that. Pulling back, it doesn't want to too much. So you can see there's some, it's got some loose cables have stretched a little bit. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna adjust this and we're gonna adjust it so it's longer to get that looseness out of the cable. So we're gonna pull it away. Pulling it away, we'll tighten that cable up and that should give us some control back. Now, that other one, that one needs some too for that guy. To get at him, we gotta pull this guy. All right, one down. Means we got one to go. Oh, and I gotta pull this. Well, that explains the rattling noise, doesn't it? Let's get cover off. Yeah, see, and now we got some adjusting to do here. Oh, geez. We rattled that chain, that screw right out. I think I kept it. That was the one I found on the ground. Right here. All right, well, I think I have my clutch sorted. Here's what we'll do. Watch this. Let's put that into forward. Let's push the clutch. Let's put it into one. And it free spins. Not completely sorted. Maybe it needs to pull further. I'll cut this and we'll see. I'll cut this, I'll weld another piece in, effectively lengthening it, and we'll see. We'll get enough throw on that sucker, one way or another. We're gonna make that clutch work right. Well, that's it for today. Buff it up, 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 buff it up,